everyone, and thank you so much for coming. As former Deputy First Selectman, I'd like to ask the consent of the board if I conduct this meeting tonight.
So if you need a motion, I'll make that motion.
Do we need a motion, Jerry?
No, but all we need to do is read the call of the meeting.
I will do that.
Okay.
Before we start that, if it would be okay, I'd like to just all rise and have a moment of silence in memory of Ed. Thank you.
Amen.
First on our agenda this evening is nominations to fill the vacancy of First Selectman.
Madam Chair, I would never presume to speak for this board or for any of its other members. But I sense tonight that we are convened with profound sadness, with deep regret, and with an element still of disbelief about the reason we are convened. Nevertheless, the town has an obligation to provide continuity of services and to continue its operation. The town has an obligation to its residents, and for all that, the town needs a new First Selectman. So tonight I would place in nomination the name of Beth Hellauer, who is an incumbent member of the Board of Selectmen. She has served on the Board of Selectmen since December 2008. Prior to that, she was the elected, one of the elected registrars of voters. She served in that position for 10 years. She has served on the town's library commission. She served on the firehouse building restoration committee. She was one of the fire commissioners and served as chair of the Board of Fire Commissioners. She is a licensed registered nurse and has her RN degree from the Roger Williams School of Nursing. So with that, I nominate Beth Hellauer.
On behalf of my friend, I second the nomination.
Are there any other nominations?
No.
Okay, I guess I'll call the vote to appoint the First Selectman.
Discussion.
Or discussion.
Beth, I just want to thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And I guess I'll call the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And thank you very much. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. I had to write my statement because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get through it, given the fact of our horrible loss this week. Thank you so much to the members of the Board of Selectmen for this honor and your confidence in me. It's with a heavy heart under these circumstances that I have agreed to assume the role of First Selectman to finish Ed's term until June 30th, and most importantly, to aspire to his legacy of wise and steady leadership. This is a time for the town to come together and move forward with the very important business and goals that were started by Ed Sheehy. And we will continue his work going forward during the next 2 months. I have known and worked with Ed for almost 22 years. He was a wise, steady, and measured leader, open to differing opinions, a calming influence in times of challenge, and always a consummate gentleman who treated everyone with respect without exception, regardless of party affiliation or point of view. In all of this, he led by his example Ed was a man of wisdom, integrity, and honesty, and I was proud to call him our first selectman and my friend. Rest in peace, Mr. Sheehy.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next item on the agenda is swearing in of the appointed first selectman. And my buddy Steph's going to do that. This just
Folks
seems
at the
so
table,
surreal.
please rise.
So surreal.
Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully perform, according to the law and the best of your abilities, your duties as First Selectman for the town of Woodbridge for the term for which you are appointed, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I have one announcement. Town Hall is going to be closed tomorrow at 2:30, so employees can attend the wake of Mr. Sheehy. And we had another thought, if anyone wanted to say anything about it at this time, they're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I
Sort of-
guess I'll start. When I joined Board of Selectmen 4 years ago, I was going into uncharted waters, wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into. And I had known Ed for quite some time, working with his wife, Ellie, on the Board of Ed for Beecher, and his daughter, Mary Rose, and my daughter, Lauren, being friends. So I'd known Ed for a long time. And when I first got on, I went to Ed and we talked, and he was more than just the first selectman for me. He was more of a mentor. And I would sit in his office and we would talk about issues. I would ask him questions, and there were times I felt like I was sitting there talking to my father. And it's just, I guess I really can't even put into words how much this loss is going to affect me personally. He was a great man. He was a great first selectman. He did some great things for the town of Woodbridge, and like Beth said, he had a very calming influence. And regardless of how contentious the meetings would get, he let everyone speak. He would listen, and that was the one thing that I really appreciated, was he would listen to me. And we wouldn't always agree, but I felt as though I could go in, I could sit down and talk to him, and when I walked out of that room, I felt as though he had listened. He had heard me, and that was very important to me as a freshman member, and I will miss Ed tremendously.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else?
I would just like to add, the loss to this community is, I can't come up with words. And I'm one of the newer members of the Board of Selectmen of the minority party. Ed was always available, and we had many chats on the phone. I'm still not sure he wrote the emails. I convinced that people read them to him. I think Ed would. I
They
think
were
I
long
was,
emails.
Yeah, I write long emails. I believe that I was 9 years old when Ed was elected to the Board of Selectmen. So, I mean, decades of service to the town. It's just unbelievable. The other community that I'm a part of that is feeling huge loss is the baseball community. And, I'm on the board of Beth with baseball, and I don't think Ed has missed an opening day in 3 decades, besides one, I think 2 years ago, where his son filled it. So he's been a huge supporter of baseball. And while we're not having our opening day ceremony on Saturday, there will be games played all over Woodbridge, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. to honor Ed, because we think he would have wanted that. So hopefully we'll have a beautiful, crisp day, a sad day, but after the services, the game he loved will be played.
Thank you, Greg.
You know, I worked with Ed, well, I didn't work with him, but he was my friend since 1979. And, you know, the difference between Tom and my age is telling. Tom said that when he used to have conversations with Ed, he felt like he was talking to his father. I felt like I was talking to my son. But in all the years we were involved in politics, municipal government, the practice of law, and we had cases together as practicing lawyers, we never had a cross word. And I said this a little earlier tonight to a group of people. We had disagreements, but Ed was the kind of guy that after you talk things out, he would either come around to your position very logically, or you would very happily come around to his position. There was never a situation where you would walk away and you would have anything but good feelings and good thoughts about the conversation you just had. And again, I say this to a lot of people, I've said this over and over this past week. Ed has gone through his life, 73 years, where there is not one person that I have ever met that had anything bad to say about him. He was always a gentleman. People disagreed with him. He had very strong opinions, certainly in the practice of law. He was always in adversarial positions with people, fighting for his client. But to a man, to a woman, to a person, everyone said that guy is a gentleman, and it was a pleasure to do business with him, to work with him, to socialize with him. It's a great loss for all of us. It's a great loss for this community, and we're all going to have to carry on as best we can. And again, thank you all for coming.
I met Ed in, I believe in 1986, when our two sons played baseball together. And I could immediately tell when I met him what a terrific guy he was. He didn't miss a game, and his sons all played, and Mary Rose played, and as the boy said to me the other day, Mary Rose is the best athlete in the family. But Ed came to every game, and we'd go to tournaments all over the state. And I always managed, I was usually coaching, but I always managed to see him at the games. And I can remember one tournament in particular, we played in the Walcott tournament every year. It was almost an unwritten rule that Woodbridge can't win this tournament. And there were calls at times from umpires that made us crazy. Well, this one particular year, it was Babe Ruth, and I was coaching. And of course, our star pitcher was Patrick Sheehy. Somehow or another, that's the toughest tournament to win up there. The competition is incredibly, just incredible. And we won, and Patrick was the MVP. And if you could have seen the look on Ed's face, it would tell you everything. I was with Ed, of course, Monday night. We walked out of the gym together, he and myself and Andy Esposito, and we were chatting out in front of the gym. And I said, I'll talk to you tomorrow. There's a few things he wanted to talk to me about. And I watched him walk up. He was heading towards Town Hall. I was parked in the gym parking lot. And as I pulled out, I saw him driving away, and I never realized that would be the last time I would see license plate 477. When I walked here from my house tonight, I needed to walk in. As I walked up to Town Hall, I was looking for that car, and it wasn't there. So, rest in peace, Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Tina?
I'd just like to say, on behalf of the commission that I head and the department with which I work, that we will miss him. And he did an amazing job as our liaison to the police commission and as a friend. And I know every time we had a difficult, and I think Jean will agree with me, a difficult issue, we would call in what the person I called the great diffuser. And he would come in and he would just bring a level-headedness and a calm to the situation. And we will miss him, and the town will miss him.
Thank you. Anyone else? Joe?
First of all, I want to thank all of you because you're continuing what town has tried to do since Tuesday morning, and that is honoring Mr. Sheehy. Mr. Sheehy is a classmate of my brother Jim's at Fairfield Prep, class of '57. My brother called me because Fairfield Prep sent a notice on the computer all over to go to that class. And that is so typical because it's contacts in thinking and friends go from high school, probably before high school. I worked for the gentleman for 12 years, well, as first selectman for 7 years. And one of the things that his brother-in-law said to me this afternoon was, I liked your talk, but you hit it on the head. Do you know what it was that you said that was the most important thing, is the thing you said on TV? I said, no, Billy, I know. He said, you said he listens. And by God, that is true. And everybody in this room, thank you for coming. And I promise you, Ed does listen. Madam First Selectman, you will have the total support of the entire staff in this
Thank you.
building. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to finish one thought. I've known Ed a long time also. In fact, I wasn't even born when he became First Selectman, but that's another story. Two thoughts. One is that we all see him through the lens of municipal government or as a lawyer colleague. But you need to look at this man's biography. He is accomplished. He is award-winning. He clearly was appreciated by all the fields in which he had endeavors. It's really quite amazing that this little town had someone of such accomplishment in that role for so long. And the second thing is while I've been on many committees and boards with Ed, but First Selectman the last couple of years, and I could always make Ed laugh. And
Make us all laugh.
right,
It's good.
and while we're conducting very serious business, every once in a while, I'd catch his eye and I was able to say something, and you didn't know it, but he was cracking up. And, you know, it's a great joy in my life that that very serious man, that gentleman, that gentle man, really had a twinkle and really enjoyed that giggle. And he will be missed.
Amen.
Okay, thank you all for coming, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.